All right, next up we do have end of episode 2 to the present. This is going to be vital to what we are doing here. So before we even get underway, they did give you a save point here for a reason, because it'll take you a little bit to read all the database stuff. But we're going to read up on what's been happening since episode 2. TC 4767, half a year since the destruction of the planet Miltia was brought about by the Ormus Patriarch Sergius. That is the end of Xenosaga Episode 2. I don't believe we got a name for him in Xenosaga Episode 2, but his name was indeed Sergius. Alright. The Gnosis phenomenon, occurring in star systems throughout the Galaxy Federation, was accelerating its rate of expansion, and more than 30% of all solar systems had suffered devastating damage. The Galaxy Federation government and autonomous states viewed the situation as critical and made advancement of the Grand Anti-Gnosis Zohar project their highest priority. The Contact Subcommittee, too, were frantically dealing with the situation. It was at this time that an incident occurred in which planet's major cities were attacked by Gnosis. Localized Gnosis phenomena had been observed numerous times before this point, but this incident differed in a significant way. The damage was always centered around a specific urban area, almost as if an intelligent factor were at work. These events would later come to be called Gnosis terrorism. Yuli Mizrahi of the Contact Subcommittee commissioned the Kukai Foundation to investigate. The mission would be undertaken by Junior, Jin, and company. Mostly just Junior and Jin. Jin visited the site of an attack where he encountered a girl calling herself Nephilim. So the girl that has been talking to Xion and occasionally to Chaos is now appearing to Jin. Shortly thereafter, their path was blocked by Doctus, an agent of the mysterious Scientia organization. I believe that's how they want me to say it. Looks like Scientia to me. Believing the girl to be involved in the incident in some way, Jin drove off Doctus and turned over the girl to the custody of the subcommittee. Jin somehow arrested Nephilim. I'm not sure how that happened. The Contact Subcommittee's examination revealed that the girl was a special type of Realian. Are we sure we're talking about the same Nephilim here? In addition, they detected in her brainwaves the same wave pattern data as that given off by Lemageton. It was a program created to analyze the Zohar during the era when Lost Jerusalem existed. Remember that when they refer to Lost Jerusalem, they're referring to Earth. Because Lost Jerusalem, as we found out, was the location of Lake Turkana, Kenya, and that's a real location in Kenya, which is in Africa, which is on Earth. That program, however, had fragmented during the Miltian conflict. It was scattered through the UMN in the form of Lemageton fragments. As Jin's group continued their investigation of the girl and Lemageton, they discovered that the series of attacks was being caused by a man named Grimoire. But the Gnosis under Grimoire's control attacked the Contact Subcommittee lab where the girl was being protected. Yuli and the girl were trapped in the occupied lab. Yuli sent a message to Shion Uzuki, chief of Vector's 1st R&D division, requesting rescue. Shion accepted Yuli's request and, together with Cosmos, stormed the lab. Shion's group succeeded in suppressing the Gnosis and rescuing Yuli, but the girl was captured by Grimoire. Nephilim was captured by Grimoire. Working together with Doctus, who had been searching for Grimoire, Jin and Shion finally discovered Grimoire's location. But Shion learned there that the UMN, Vector, and her own father had been involved in the incident. To uncover Grimoire's true nature and to rescue the captured girl, Shion resolved to break into a region of the UMN that was under special Vector control. With the help of Scientia, Jin's group, and the girl herself, the incident finally drew to a close. But learning of Vector and her father's involvement in the incident weighed heavily on Shion's heart. Unable to endure her emotions any longer, she finally left Vector. All this happened between games. that's a whole game in and of itself, isn't it? Like, that could have been a whole game, but I assume due to budget, that did not happen. But damn it, I want to play that. That sounds like a good time. But that kind of brings us up to date. As you might imagine, it feels like we're going to be missing a couple things that happened there. The tutorial, I'm going to briefly go through all the stuff that's in here. We will fill this out as we go through this tutorial dungeon. First up is save points. They're save points. You heal there as well, just automatically by touching them. That's all you need to know about save points. I mean, they're pretty basic. All right. Let's get into a little bit more detail here. Let's talk about the characters. First up, we have Kanan. Kanan is a special enhanced memory model Realian on loan from Vector to Second Miltia. So he is officially owned by Vector, and he's helping us infiltrate Vector. He possesses hand-to-hand battle capabilities superior to those of combat Realians. In this case, however, those abilities are better suited for use as an ES pilot rather than in battle. So, as you might expect, he's really good at piloting that ES. That's why everybody compliments him on it. Next up, we do have Shion Uzuki, former chief of Vector 1st R&D Division's Cosmos Project Joint Operations Systems Development. That's a long title, but she doesn't work there anymore. She entered Vector Industries' 1st R&D Division in TC 4763 at the age of 18, though 2 years younger than Alan. I don't know who that is. Her accelerated pace made her 1 year his senior at Vector. Following the Gnosis terrorism, she left Vector and enlisted the help of Scientia in pursuit of the truth behind that string of incidents and the hidden dangers of the UMN. The UMN is going to be kind of a big deal in this game, so we might want to get some information on that and try to pay attention whenever they do talk about it, because they're not going to answer my questions early on about it, I assume. Doctus. Do believe she is relatively new to a lot of us, agent of the underground organization Scientia, chiefly responsible for directing infiltration and combat unit, a woman who carries out her missions in a calm and collected manner. She met Jin Uzuki 6 months ago during the investigation into Grimoire's Gnosis terrorism, and subsequently followed Shion when she left Vector to join her in investigating Vector and the UMN. Her body is a remote control type android, controlled by the real Doctus by projecting her consciousness into its artificial brain to manipulate the body. So what we see is not Doctus, it is an android with Doctus's consciousness linked to it, I guess you could say. Her real location is top secret information even within the ranks of Scientia, and is only known by a select few of the higher-ups within the organization. She doesn't want anybody knowing where she is. She frequently speaks in Latin, saying things such as, like I said, practice makes perfect, usus magister est optimus, and later on she will say, oh, my Latin is terrible, errari? I have no idea. To err is human, that's what she says. My English is a lot better than my Latin. All right, oh, we still have Miyuki. And we actually get Miyuki's last name here, Miyuki Itsumi. She's the former systems programmer for Vector Industries' 1st R&D Division and Shion's junior. So apparently she quit as well. She just likes following Shion around. Her best attribute is her constantly chipper and upbeat personality. Her ability to maintain her usual brightness, even under grave circumstances, is not bravado, but a sign of legitimate toughness. It could also be a coping mechanism. Apparently it's legitimate toughness. Joining Vector's 2nd R&D division was the realization of her long-time wish. Currently, she's immersed in new weapons development. Maybe still a Vector? Maybe? Her tendency to rack up expenses at every turn is a perpetual source of headaches amongst her superiors. In a manner of speaking, she is a woman true to her own desires. Quite the mechanical whiz, she is always asking Shion and the others to try out her latest inventions, which include Shion's MWS, which was awesome. I don't know if Shion would have helped at all during the last 2 games without that MWS. Patent applications are something of a hobby for her. She likes inventing things. I wouldn't say like patent applications, but whatever. Next up, we have cultural. This is the UMN. Remember I said this was going to be important. I hope it's full of information. It's not. This stands for the Unus Mundus Network, or Unus Mundus. This is the wide area information network connecting the entire galaxy. It is used in spatial hops and faster than light communication. Taking advantage of its distinctive non-locality. It uses the EPR paradox to establish connections without being bound by time or space. If I remember correctly, the EPR paradox was if you took an atom or a molecule or something like that and you split it into 2 equal particles and they drifted apart, you could locate one of those particles, and by knowing the origin of the split, where that happened, how long ago that happened, well, really just where that happened, and the location and spin of one of its daughter particles, then you would be able to identify the location and spin of the other particle that split off. How that enables you to, establish connections without being bound by space or time is a little bit beyond me, but that's what they're going with. The UMN was developed by Vector after Lost Jerusalem disappeared. Its administration was then handed over to the Galaxy Federation. However, no records remain from its development period, so there is no way to verify any of the details. And Vector kind of likes doing stuff behind the scenes, as we found out last game. Lately, a large number of Gnosis encounters have been reported on the UMN and within the Encephalon. Gnosis are getting involved in the virtual reality stuff. The mastermind behind Gnosis terrorism, Grimoire Verum, has also used the UMN for various events, leading some to speculate about a connection between the UMN and the appearance of the Gnosis. So maybe the UMN is making the Gnosis show up? Unus Mundus refers to Carl Jung's, I believe that's Carl, I don't know what the G stands for, C.G. Jung's theory of the collective unconscious. It can explain the inconsistencies of synchronicity and the EPR paradox from a physics standpoint, as well as the mutually complementary connection and relationship between 2 minds and between mind and matter. Once again, I believe Jung is a psychologist or psychiatrist and not a physicist, and if memory serves me correctly, he's like 20s, 30s, like 1920s, 1930s. That's when he was around. So that's all I really got on Jung for now. In the story, it refers to a collective unconscious network where human consciousness are overlaid with and rendered alongside the network. Once again, it gives us a lot of information, but none of it really answers any questions that I might have had about what the UMN is. All right, next up, we have events. There's the Gnosis terrorism. That's what's here. A popular name for the Gnosis attacks that were brought about half a year ago. Along with several accomplices, the ringleader, a man named Grimoire Verum, manipulated the Gnosis and attacked the capital cities of several planets. According to reports from the Contact Subcommittee, which was responsible for the investigation, Grimoire and his accomplices all died within the UMN. Their goals and the methods by which they controlled the Gnosis are still unknown pending further investigation. Yeah, that sucks. They died, so now we can't get information out of them. Furthermore, Shion and Jin were involved in this incident. After its resolution, the Cosmos project was halted, and Shion decided to leave Vector. They stopped working on Cosmos? Can I have her in my party then? Like, can I just take her? You're not working with her anymore. All right, locations. Where we are now, Vector's S-Line division. The S-Line division, also referred to as S-Line. This is the term for Vector's data administration section within the UMN, categorized into 4 ranks, S, A, B, and C, based on level of importance. S for special. S-Line, where Vector's classified information is stored, is the highest ranking section. Therefore, it cannot be accessed without the CEO's permission. We're going to need to talk to Wilhelm about this. Grimoire, mastermind behind the Gnosis terrorism, was isolated within S Division in a place known as Ars Nova. He controlled the Gnosis from within S Division as he attacked cities on multiple planets. So apparently, deep in the bowels of S-Line is where Grimoire did all of his Gnosis control? And the Contact Subcommittee didn't come here to investigate themselves? Things are starting to get a little suspicious, aren't they? I assume that the CEO of Vector is Wilhelm. I didn't hear about anybody trying to take over. All right, organization, Scientia. Once again, I always want to say like Scientia, but they say that is wrong. An underground organization formed by a person named Melissa Ortiz in TC 4669 as a coalition of the anti-UMN group that have been established across the galaxy. So Scientia is designed to be an anti-UMN group. Even as an underground group, its scope is large. It uses proprietary network technology located throughout the Galaxy Federation to interact with the UMN and to search for the truth behind it and Vector. That's the whole point, like kind of what our mission right now is. And then finally we have unknown Gnosis stuff. All right, Gnosis, non-physical beings that exist in imaginary space. Supposedly, physical contact cannot be made with them from normal space, but they can sure as hell contact us. But with the development of the DSSS system and Joachim Mizrahi's Hilbert effect and 100 series observational units, it is possible for people in normal space to interact with them, so we can like bring them into our plane of reality, is how I believe they have phrased it before. We already knew more about the Gnosis than what is available here. Hopefully we'll get more information as the game goes on. All right, Gnosis phenomenon. The phenomenon of people, things, and planets suddenly nosifying, which is apparently a word. Not only the result of direct contact with the Gnosis, this can also occur in a chain reaction fashion from a great distance. As a result, urgent research is underway in search of a link to the cause. This refers to things becoming Gnosis. We saw a glimpse of that in the opening cutscene. We've also seen that in previous games where people and things kind of become Gnosis, but apparently entire planets can become Gnosis. That does not sound good to me at all. All right, secret data, privileged vector data that is placed inside S Division within the UMN non-public informational record, within the UMN. Non-public informational records, mainly concerning the UMN and backroom deals that have been conducted in the past, are recorded here. Xion cooperated with Scientia to collect this information and find out the truth behind Vector. Data on Lemageton and Grimoire Verum came from this classified information. You notice that there's a lot of stuff here that is kind of bold or red, and we don't have information on that yet, but we will eventually, obviously. That is it for the database for now. I'm gonna go save. I honestly need a drink. Be right back.